Very good morning, students. Myself BK Singh, your chemistry teacher from Oriental Public Education. Students, in today's video we are going to discuss about crystallization. Now, students, we will discuss purification of an impure sample of crystalline solid. Students, before discussing this topic, we should understand what is crystalline solid. So, students, see, solids we can categorize into two types, and these are crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Students, so in crystalline solids, the molecules, the particles are arranged in a systematic order, whereas in amorphous solid, the particles of the matter are not arranged in a proper order. This is the main difference. For example, crystalline solid we can take such as copper sulfate, potassium nitrate. They are the example of crystalline solid, sodium chloride, etc. So these are crystalline solid, students, and many substances like coal, lump of soil, these are amorphous. That means the arrangement of the particles in coal or soil, it is not systematic, and because of which it can be broken easily. Whereas this copper sulfate, potassium nitrate, or sodium chloride, these have crystalline arrangement. That means their arrangement of the particles are systematic. So in this process we are going to discuss that purification of an impure sample of crystalline solid such as copper sulfate, potassium nitrate, sodium chloride, etc. can be done with the help of technique known as crystallization. So now we'll discuss how we can purify the impure sample of different salt. Students, with the help of crystallization technique, we can also purify impure samples of potash, alum, and nitrate also. So let us apply this technique for the purification of an impure sample of copper sulfate, blue in color, which contains some suspended impurities of sand, mud, etc. So students, for this we will take about 5 gram of the sample in a glass beaker, and to this add about 20 milliliter of water and one test tube full of water, we can say, and then stir with the help of a glass rod for about 5 minutes, so that copper sulfate completely dissolve in water. Then filter the solution through a filter paper, and then the particles of impurities will remain in the filter paper, and then transfer the filtrate in a china dish. See here, this one is the china dish. Then place the dish on a sand bath, and this is sand bath. Here it is sand bath, and then heat the bath on a Bunsen burner or any burner we can take, or split lamp also we can take, and this one is it is a Bunsen burner, we can say this is Bunsen burner. Instead of this one we can take a split lamp also, and then the disc can be heated directly also, but the sand bath provide uniform heat, and moreover the disc may even crack on direct heating. The water from the disc slowly evaporates. Water from the disc slowly evaporates. This means that is starts evaporating. And when the volume of the solution is reduced to nearly half or slightly less, remove the disc from the burner and place the disc on a glass beaker full of water and leave the contents undisturbed for about half an hour, and beautiful blue crystals of pure copper sulfate settle on the bottom of the disc, and then decant the aqueous layer and transfer the crystals on a filter paper and dry them carefully with the help of filter papers. Then they soak whatever water content is present. So in this manner we can purify copper sulfate from its impure sample. So this is very useful technique. By using this one we can purify an impure sample of salt. And students, copper sulfate can also recovered from the solution obtained after filtration by direct heating. By doing so, water gets evaporated, leaving the solid copper sulfate behind. But crystallization technique is always better than evaporation due to some reasons. What these reasons are, now we'll discuss. So students,